Kia ora. Hello, friends. Matt Dawson here. Welcome back to the Restoring Connections podcast. If you're watching this, or actually if you're listening, you can probably hear the bleep, bleep, bleep of the indicator. I am here with my very, very dear friend, Stevie Lujan. Get the angle on that. We're in the car. We're making... And we are on our way. Stevie's been with us for the last couple days. And we are on our way to the airport in Paris. And I couldn't resist the, at least the desire to take a chance at doing a podcast together while we had Stevie with us. So I thought the ship had sailed. I thought it wasn't going to be possible. But Stevie was like, dude, let's just do it in the car on the way to the airport. And I thought, okay. That sounds impossible, but Stevie thinks it's possible, so, and it's clearly working. Hey, Stevie.
What up?
So, yes. So Restoring Connections podcast, we're talking about personal responsibility, talking about proactive care, powerful communication, healthy boundaries. Again, these are the things, the stuff we're wrestling with here is what, particularly when a close relationship is under threat. We're talking about the kind of relationships that you are very much hoping and anticipating you will take to the grave with you. These are the relationships that you want to go from strength to strength to strength. And so Stevie and I are probably, how long have we known each other?
20
something.
22 and a bit years now.
So we're 22 years into a constant stream of deep conversation on this topic. Actually, just before I hit record, I was just telling Stevie about something that he said earlier this year that's been incredibly helpful for me navigating what actually has been one of the more difficult seasons of my life. So the question we're wrestling with here that I really want to get your thoughts on, Stevie, is, it's a bit of a cheeky question. Is this... Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah, that's how you know we're definitely in France. Oh, the question is this relationship killing me? Is this relationship killing me, or is it setting me free, or both? And it's a bit of a cheeky question, but it's getting at, I think as you hear that, you'll probably be able to recognize what we're getting at here is the reality. Just
very thorough instructions.
Just enjoy it. That any close relationship at times will, hopefully most of the time feels awesome and wonderful, but at times it's going to feel like it's killing you as well. And so it's recognizing sometimes it's not that clear when you're going through something incredibly painful. But I want to get, like, Stevie, you are someone who I have seen do the work, which is what you often say, when a close relationship is starting to feel painful and uncomfortable, rather than, because that's always the temptation, right, is to basically get away from the pain of that as quickly as possible. But I've watched in your journey
Pardon, monsieur, you have taken the wrong turn again. Let me eloquently tell you in France. Where are you going, monsieur?
Prends la sortie, prends un croissant pour toi et ton ami. What you need right now is a croissant, a pain au chocolat.
Relax.
I've watched you turn these painful situations into healing and ultimately, profound freedom. And so talk talk to us about this. Tell me about your experience. I'd love it if you could talk about some of the stuff that you've journeyed with in terms of healing around family dynamics. How long have you and Rach been married now?
It's going to be 3 years in March.
3 years. My gosh. Okay. Is that enough of a wind-up?
Sure.
Can you just riff on that?
I think so. What should I point the relationship towards family?
Yeah, well, so Rach is your closest relationship on planet Earth, right?
I can start there.
Okay, let's start there. So I'm sure, I know you absolutely adore this woman.
Mm-hmm.
And the connection is deep and profound. And in that, like any other, like my connection with Cora, there's these moments where it's like, what it's costing me to maintain this connection? Am I actually dying? Like, is there something in me that's dying here? Like, is this bad? Is this relationship killing me? Or is this relationship actually breaking something? And actually what's going to emerge is a more true version of myself, a more healed version of myself. What kind of experiences make you feel that way? And the biggest thing I want to know is, what do you do? What do you personally, what are like the things what are the disciplines you've put in place when you feel that? In those dark moments, in those scary moments, they are cause for great the introspection and personal reflection. What do you typically do? What have you found helpful?
Well, I mean, for sure, the most helpful things I've learned from you guys that I actually apply. It's like the preventative as well as we need to do some stuff now. So it's like both family meeting and getting things clear on the table is certainly a way to minimize the amount of friction or conflict that will arise in any given week.
Yeah.
It's just being on the same page. So like, I see that as like, going to the gym. Going to the gym will certainly help me prepare for a challenge, or like running on the treadmill, but eventually you're going to have to actually run the marathon, and during the marathon there's going to be like a lot more like stuff that you got to focus on in the moment to get through that specific mile and that specific, gate or whatever they're called. Sure. But family meeting has certainly been a big one for us, especially being in New York, freshly married, lots of challenges, lots of exposing of like our fragilities financially.
So you moved to New York, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah, we moved to New York 3 months after we got married. And I don't think being in New York was like a uniquely like, oh, that's the only place family meeting really was necessary. I just think it was even more clear that if we didn't have that, the amount of times we would misunderstand or miss each other or not be in each other's orbit clearly with clear proactive communication would have been astronomically higher.
Right. Okay, so I'm hearing straight off the bat, your go-to isn't like get away, isolate yourself, assume this is just your issue. Your go-to initially is, let's get communication flowing here.
Well, yeah, I mean, I definitely wanted her to go away, I want her to go away with all of her
because a lot of people
challenges and just let me like deal with my challenges and you deal with yours. But that was very clear that our overlapping stresses and anxieties weren't just gonna go away, or even just like, oh, I'm so sorry that happened, or like even compassionate, response to each other's stress and stimulation, because there's so much of it in New York all the time.
Right.
From transport to banking to just admin alone. And then also
just curveball after curveball.
Yeah. And then also like, do we actually have the money to solve this problem well, which is never an isolated issue in a marriage. Is like, do we have it? Are you earning enough? Am I earning enough? Is this going to...
Yes.
And so that reveals really quickly. So without a proactive plan, even beyond like a work schedule, but like, this is just like marriage and family 101. But of course we had to learn this by being in the grinder. Is like, okay, well, we need to budget better. Well, who's going to cook the budgeted meals that we've just got groceries for, and when are they going to get made? And without that, it just becomes one anxiety after another. And in New York, those anxieties catch up with you, and they don't just like dwindle.
Yes.
They only amplify. They only like compound. So that if you're poor and you need to budget, but you don't do it, but you don't make a plan of who's going to cook it and then clean it, then you're, well, even if you make a plan who's going to cook it, someone's got to make a plan who's going to clean it. Otherwise, you're living in disorder, and that disorder is another stress on top of getting out the door on time. And before you know it, particularly for Rach, who's much more attuned to an orderly home and an orderly kitchen, that's going to create an opportunity for her to be impatient or short with me for a good reason.
Yeah.
So the family meeting didn't fix every single problem, but it certainly has and will continue to alleviate unnecessary, like, wait, who's got this? And that's all from you guys. Proactive communication in that regard is certainly huge. And then also the secondary thing I'd say there is it takes two people to start an atomic bomb, that whole motif, and when we do get into moments where we haven't been on the same page and no amount of family meeting would have ever prevented it anyways, because that happens.
Yeah.
Just remembering it only takes one of us to like de-escalate this moment to not let it go further. And that certainly is a good motif, but it doesn't mean knowing the motif exists. It means that either one of us are actually going to hold on. And so because we're both activated in these triggered pressure stress moments, I think New York only again amplifies it because we don't just think, oh, where's this come from? We're like, it came from 5 minutes ago before I got in the apartment and someone was borderline like assaulting me and I'm heightened. So then we can kind of like almost assume the other person is always going to understand that New York's New Yorking us, so don't get on my back about this, which doesn't ever work.
And and would it be right to say, I mean, this is certainly true for Cora and I doubt we're alone here. Maybe we are. But like what you're really hoping from the other person is always, in your own experience is like, of course I'm stressed out of my mind.
Don't you understand?
Look at my situation. But then I look at Cora and I go, but your stress, I think that might have to do with some brokenness from your childhood.
I always label it.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like my stress is completely valid. Yours, you should own that.
Yeah.
And so that it's like, but that's why I wanted to ask you this question is I continually see you having the discipline. You're constantly telling me it's like, you're, working it through with your, with the people in your life, whether that's, me and we do this with each other or other people where you've developed that capacity to not only, project that onto Rach and ask, but also take responsibility for that and go, actually, I think I've got some work to do here. Maybe I'm not just getting New York. Maybe New York is what's triggering the situation, this current stress. But actually, maybe there's something down deeper there that actually, if we got down at, maybe there's an opportunity here for a deeper freedom and growth.
Well, and parts work, which is what I do, internal family system.
Yeah.
Every single time Dawn, my therapist for the last number of years, I wish I could see her more, any response that is projecting or like dismissive, especially towards Rach, because she's the most beloved, committed person in my life.
Yeah.
Well, Gabor says it as well, Mate. All of us marry our unfinished business. So we're marrying someone who's going to reveal.
Surprise!
Yeah. Reveal, well, and even more so into this current season of me as an artist with Carl Jung and this new EP, and what I've been wrestling through is Carl Jung would say, like, the goal isn't to smash the ego or smash the shadow, it's to accept it. So when I respond the way I do to stress, whether it's financial burden or miscommunications on priorities or scheduling or, well, me and Rach were both creative, so we both hold our creative projects in such a high but tender, fragile place. Will you believe in me? Will you believe in the film? Will you believe in the album?
Sure.
Will you hey, this is a classic. We're stressed on money, but can we spend on this?
Yes.
That's where it's always, that's going to come up real quick. Like, well, I hope so, but I hope that we pay rent and eat well this month, and then make festival submissions for your new film, which costs us out of pocket. Or, inversely, I want to go to do this new thing at improv at UCB where I love and I'm growing and thriving.
Isn't that
But it's
so?
$500. Do we have it? And this is where the real
It's so
value is.
beautiful, though. It's so beautiful. Like that, as isn't it amazing how, like, I just feel the anguish of that as you describe that situation. But it is also so profound. It's such a beautiful wrestle.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
But then the wrestle will reveal whether we're tender and willing to, I guess in some sense, suffer. Because it feels like a suffering when you're stressed about money to make a sacrifice to go, I don't know, sometimes I don't know if we have the money to do that festival submission, or for Rach to go, you've been saying, because I do most of our finance or all of our finances, you've been saying we're stressed, so is it really wise for you to jump into this 8-week program again?
Right.
But then you have to transcend that pressure point and go, I don't know, but let's do it, or maybe sometimes it's like, I don't know, and then me, the one who wants to do the class, or her, the one that wants to do the festival, or whatever outlet, yeah, I'm going to actually be willing to hear you say a caution and not go, you hate my passions.
Sure.
I knew it, because what that reveals every single time, and how it relates to Gabor, how it relates to Carl Jung, is something inside of me at some age had a moment just like it, where what I wanted or what I felt like I needed at 6, 10, whatever age, was under the chopping block. And my mom, particularly, because that's my primary caregiver, had to make a decision, whether it was good or bad, who knows, but had to make a decision that didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And I completely felt unloved, abandoned, and that my world didn't make any sense anymore. And without the proper nurturing, which I sadly didn't always get from my primary caregiver, of the complexity of all these things, I was just left to be like, well, that's just the way the world is, and that hardens you essentially. And in parts work, your inner child, or that moment, you never mature past it until you're able to go, hey, that was really sad. Let's name it. I was disappointed. I was hurt. But it doesn't mean that I'm not still valuable, beloved, or will be taken care of. And so another part of you emerges to protect you from ever feeling that again.
Yeah.
And every single fight I've ever had with Rach,
Yes,
every single one is that protector parts coming out saying, I know exactly what this feels like. This is exactly what you're
saying.
Yeah.
Not again.
And they're saying, not on my watch. There's a part of me that's 13 or 12, and they're like, I felt this once. And it's not just from my mom or my siblings. It's from my peers.
Sure.
It's from my leaders that I joined in certain organizations. People that hold power, when they've done something that I didn't want, and even then just go into abuse, when they were abusive.
Yeah.
Because we abuse each other at times, even against our best interests and our best hopes. Yeah. And so this protector rears his head up, and he thinks he knows exactly what to do. And sometimes he has known exactly what to do. And this is the whole thing with family systems and Jung, is I'm now aware that some of the protector parts that try to protect me don't do it effectively, but they have the purest motives.
Yeah, and there's a place for that.
And they actually did a very good job at some point to get me as far as I am today.
Yeah, for sure.
They're actually why I'm alive. They're actually why I'm the way I am and doing what I'm doing, is because they did say, hey, this feels like death right now, what just happened to you, 7-year-old Stevie, but I'm going to get you through it. So they put their armor on, and the armor is a good thing. We all need armor. The world's a scary, dangerous place. But what they don't understand is there's more nuance, there's more data now. At 41, that armor doesn't fit me anymore. Literally, it's like, if you want to use a biblical metaphor, it's like
Saul's armor.
Saul's armor didn't fit on David, but my protector part doesn't understand that I'm now literally a bigger human being with more capacity, more. They just think, you're still 7. If I don't come in and save you from this, we won't make it. And so instead of me getting annoyed, because usually that energy comes across intense, harsh, which is why fights happen to begin with, is I got to put my armor on now. Instead of Rach being my greatest ally, she's my greatest threat. In the drop of a hat, the person who normally is like my safest place becomes the biggest threat ever. Yeah. And then I have a crisis of like, why am I treating this person this way? Yeah. It's all messy all at once, but I have to remember it just takes one of us to go, hold on. I'm really reacting to you not as my current, mature, integrated self. Yes. There's a part of me that isn't that, and I'm even needing to be humble enough to recognize that there's still a 7-year-old in me that's having a tantrum.
Yeah, and if you're in that state, this is what I find so helpful is, or like there's this YouTube video, below the line, above the line, and it's the simplest thing in the world, but the being self-aware that if I'm in that state primarily, that flight, fight, whatever, like I cannot manifest something else. That like that is what is going to come out of me right now,
Yeah.
because I am acting like a wounded, caged animal.
Yeah.
And
until that caged animal can be
nothing else is going to come out of me.
fed or whatever his felt need is that's making him freak out, or the noise goes away, or the threat dissipates. He's not going to do anything but freak out on the cage and just try to get what he needs, you know. And so I would say historically, particularly because of you guys, I'm not just kidding, like I've learned how to do that a bit more, maybe proactively.
Yeah.
But in Rachel's journey, any moment of pulling back hasn't equaled safety. It's equal pulling back and never returning for her nearest and dearest, whether that be family or romantic relationships in the past.
Okay.
So I've had to learn how to assure Rach that I will pull back, because what's about to come out of my mouth I will regret. And I often do.
Right.
I often don't pull back, and so she knows that that's true.
Yes, please protect me from you right now.
But initially it was like in our early...
If you pull back, are you going to stay there?
Yes. Initially when I
stay that distant.
When I was less comfortable showing Rach my venom in our earlier parts of a relationship, and I would be like noble, and I'm just going to pull back and gather myself. It's better than like unleashing the venom, but she didn't know then, oh, he will definitely come back.
Yeah.
He will gather himself. He'll do what he needs to do. He'll take a walk. He'll Marco Polo mat.
Sure.
He'll do what he has to do to like get this in order. And then he'll come back and we'll have a better chance at figuring this out.
Yeah.
Now that's clear, but still.
Yeah, you've had to earn that. That's beautiful though.
Well,
you know, you've had...
But still, depending on the topic now, if there's certain things that no matter how much I've proved it, it still triggers in Rach. But this one might be the one where you actually just retreat and never come back.
Yeah, and that's
because this issue that I'm manifesting, Rach might think and feel, this is the one that's going to prove that nobody can care for me, which is her journey of what she's experienced. And the more curious I get about why Rach is so convinced that I'll bail on her, instead of it being like, what's wrong with you? Or even worse, what's wrong with me? Maybe I am causing this because I'm such a monster. No. When I dismantled the atomic bomb from blowing up, and I was trying to figure out the deepest mysteries of why we are the way we are in our fight or flight mode, that's where compassion and curiosity can happen when you're actually not activated. Honest, hey, when you reacted that way, man, it really hurt me. And I got a chance to be curious about why it hurt me so bad. Funnily enough, it had very little to do with what you did or said. Or maybe it does sometimes, because we've been together long enough now where I'm like, actually, it reminded me of that last time this happened.
Yeah.
And I have a ton of memories of like...
It's the tip of the iceberg.
It's usually the tip of the iceberg.
It's not nothing, but it's not
the whole
everything.
thing.
Yeah.
And then if we have love in the tank, then we go, tell me more about your mom, Stevie.
Yes.
Tell me more about that boyfriend before. Tell me more about what that was
curious.
like. And then you go, oh, Matt, of course you act that way when I do that thing.
Yes.
Of course you do. That makes so much sense. It still hurts me when you act that way when I do that thing, because that wasn't...
But it's the, you know, like we always say, confusion is the big killer.
Totally.
Right? And so having clarity, having some understanding, pain can be incredibly redemptive if there's some understanding around it.
Yes. And it's not a get out of jail free card. Oh, you told me that that's how you react to this stress. This is what Rach and I are working through all the time, is that, well, I'll use a very specific example. Being ADHD, married, and in New York City is a major cause of potential conflict, because I forget things all the time.
Right.
And I lose things, important things, and I lose track of our schedule. Family meeting, again, so crucial. But if I just keep on saying, well, I'm ADD, and when I was ADD as a 7-year-old, people were so mean to me. So don't bring up that you're frustrated or even impacted by that behavior, or by the manifesting of that ADD.
Yeah.
It's please be curious and sensitive that this is my upbringing, but not so sensitive that you never tell me that I've impacted you, because all that's going to look like is a bottled up, pent up rage fountain at some point. because you've been having to be the bigger person over and over and over again
Yeah.
to save me from the discomfort of.
Yeah, and that's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
Eventually, someone tries to just continually absorb that over
No.
and over and over, and then eventually they'll have to find a way to medicate or punish in some way to balance it out.
And yeah, there's a flip side to the same things with Rachel's way of being in the world, that we both are, and I'm probably more willing. I'm not conflict averse. Rach very much is. My family, my siblings.
It's like Cora and I, but the opposite.
Exactly.
Cora just is totally comfortable jumping into, oh, cool, like, let's have it out.
And quite articulate. Me and Cora are both able to articulate quickly.
Yeah.
And sometimes a little too sharply, a little too cutting, a little too specific and descriptive, and not enough softness to go, hey, I want to tell you what you just did and how it impacted me. I don't know if I embellish or people like me and Cora embellish, but it comes across as an embellishment. You could have just told me this, but you told me this.
Yes.
You told me so much. You call it in the lines of not just what happened to you, but what you believe my intent was.
Yeah.
And that's where things get really quickly into the scary stage, because I'm not just being articulate and honest and bold, and I'm being something else.
Yeah.
Then that's a protector part, saying if I don't describe this in great detail, it'll happen to you again. So make sure they know never to do that again. So my protector part wants me to be safe, but it overdoes it every single time.
Yeah.
Our protector parts.
Well, it does what it's trying to do. It's defense, right?
Yeah, it's saying
It's
if you
defense.
don't, and then particularly for people like me who have a certain skill set or a certain ability to articulate, it's almost always more information than necessary to reach. More context, more. And she's just like, oh my gosh, I'm so lost and confused here with how to diffuse this, because you're telling me so much all at once. And I have to recognize, oh, my protector part's doing more than it needs to. I need to, but this is where rubber hits the road. I don't say, shut up, protector part. Because that just creates a war within me.
Yes.
A conflict within me. I have to go, oh, my protector part's activated. Hey, Rach, I just need to go talk to my protector part for a little bit. I need to have a conversation with this thing and just go, hey, I totally get what you're doing here. Thank you so much for wanting what's the best. Can we just both catch our breath for a second?
You literally do that?
I try to.
Wow.
This is the skills that, if I'm doing my work.
Yeah. This is the stuff that I'm really wanting people to be able to grab hold of, like that tool, that discipline. You're literally, I'm hearing you. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna, rather than try to basically like absolutize the situation, right? Like, you are absolutely the problem, or I am absolutely the problem. There is something good here. There is something that needs to be nourished. There isn't just something that needs to be severed or crushed. There is something that is helpful, that's gone way, it's like a mixing board.
Yes.
And homie on the saxophone, or
a little too sharp right now, a little too much.
Or the snare drum is like blaring, or or the electric. Let's face it, it's the electric guitar, basically.
And I don't always do this, but when we
idea isn't to sniper shoot the electric guitarist in the head. The idea is, okay, we've got to dial that back into a healthy balance.
I would say I don't always do this quickly, but when I've done it, and Rach is definitely starting to get that vibe too, and that flow. Every resolution we've ever had is because one of us did this.
Right. Yeah.
And then we come back with not just, hey, I'm sorry that happened, but hey, I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry I did that. No excuses. I got curious about why I did that.
Come on.
It's because so and so. But you know what? And it's never, oh, okay, well, then that's fine that it happened.
It has to be both.
It's not just, that's fine that it happened. That makes sense. But what's tempting is that you have a moment where you can transform a little bit. And so you just go, oh, that makes sense. Oh, I love you. You kind of like excuse that it happened. You give it a little bit of grace, but it doesn't mean it should happen again.
Yeah.
In the exact same way.
Yeah.
In fact,
the person is going to need some reassurance that
fact,
you're going to work on it, right?
Yeah. And so there's a promise, and I'm going to get just as curious next time this happens, because I've already just proved to me and to you that I can own what I did, get curious about why it happened, be honest about it, which takes the air out of the room in a bad way, and just goes, okay, next time I'm going to be even quicker to go, oh, there's that protector part again. He's back.
Yeah.
But
And that's all we hope for from each other.
but this is the crazy part is I'm not just proving to Rach that I'll talk to the protector part. I'm proving to myself.
Yeah.
I'm proving to my protector part, hey, when you come back up, I'm going to get really curious really quickly and not shame you and go away, because you're going to ruin everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, oh, what do you have to tell me? And until I can get a clear message from myself, that's usually where the bad conversation goes. I'm going to try my best to go, oh, Rach, darling, I'm feeling a conflict within me right now, and I'm making it all about you. Can you just give me a moment? And sometimes it's literally just a moment. And sometimes it's like, I just need to go for a walk, or I just need to go in another room. And man, I wish I do this like earlier, but usually this is the end of the conflict. It's like, okay, we've well and truly said things that we regret now. And one of us huffed off in a puff maybe, and then we go for the walk, and then, oh, I'm so sorry, this is what's up. And thankfully I have a spouse that's totally like, okay, great, I want to hear and I want to tell you what I was curious about.
Rach is awesome.
And the goal isn't for us to have less conflict, it's for us to do this quicker at the moment, because we're inevitably going to be each other's unfinished business in every season of our life from now on.
Yes.
And right now we're 41 and 35, and it feels a certain way, but we're going to be 50 and 70 and adult children, young children, teenage, and then adult children, and it's all going to be the same, like,
yes,
data of like, what is this revealing about why I'm reacting this way?
Yeah, and in some ways, you could say, going back to this question, and we'll kind of draw this to a close here, because I want to make sure that we actually get you to the airport on time.
Are we close?
Yeah, we're close. But as you're talking, I'm realizing in some ways the answer to the question, is this relationship killing me? Is it setting me free? It's that old thing where it's like, whichever one you believe is true. Because what you believe about the relationship, your narrative about the relationship, is informing all of those dynamics that you're talking about. And the more you believe the relationship is killing you, it's like a self-perpetuating kind of a thing.
For sure. And of course, there's like purely toxic, abusive humans that don't show any willingness to own anything, so they're just going to perpetuate abuse.
No, I'm so glad you said that. And there's plenty of examples where I have needed to say to a friend, hey, this relationship is actually, this isn't one of those times. This relationship is actually literally crushing you.
But then mystically almost, even that destructive patch of relationships or a destructive parent, you can still look at that as it set me free.
Yes, there's still redemptive value in it.
But that doesn't mean by staying and perpetuating the same patterns. Yeah. And so like I can even look at my previous relationships romantically and be like, man, very easy to say it was killing me the whole time. And it was hurting me. But have I been able to transcend more for this season of my life with Rach because of that pain? 100%. Half of what I've just talked about, and your guys' ability to help me navigate some of those complexities, I would not be able to have any of these skills or ability to do this with Rach if I didn't go through this is killing me question mark for quite a while with certain people in my life in the past. And so I'm not...
But you didn't leave it there. That's the key.
Yeah, I'm not masochistic about like, oh, I needed that to be a whip on my back in order to... That's like a different mentality, and I'm not down for that. I'm not down for like, well, you got to go through hell in order to enjoy heaven. I'm like, well, it's sad that we all have to go through hell, but there can be a redemptive arc to it. But it still doesn't mean that the hell was just like ordained or something. Like, I don't know. That's how I view it. It's like there's
get curious and get help.
Yeah. That's exactly what I say.
That's certainly my journey. I don't have a single significant breakthrough in my life that hasn't involved getting help, that hasn't involved input from somebody in me, and you've.
Well, I'd say this as a closing mark on protector parts for those that are curious about internal family systems.
Yeah, actually, for those who aren't familiar, say what you're going to say, and then for those who are unfamiliar with what you're talking about, maybe you could point them to...
Well, IFS, internal family systems, is a fairly new modality. It's been around for 50, 60 years now. But there's many parts, but the protector part is usually the one that gets us in trouble in relationships. Not usually, every single time. The protector parts are not curious at all.
Right.
They know. They feel like they know everything about the situation.
Yeah.
They feel like they know exactly what you need right now. Because they did know at one point how to get you out of a sticky situation at some point in the past, but they haven't been able to mature mentally enough to recognize that there's different contexts and different moments for different
Totally.
solutions. So they are like a very well-meaning dullard.
Oh, what did Elizabeth Gilbert? How did she describe it? And it's like a mall cop
Yes.
hopped up on Red Bull,
Yes,
something like
exactly.
that. I thought that was such a good picture.
And so the best thing to do to a hopped up mall cop is not to fire them or like, because they actually do protect people, but sometimes they just do a little too aggressively. And so it's like, you learn how to love these characters. And that's Jung's work 101 is like, you don't get rid of the shadow by hating it. You get rid of it by getting curious about it and in some ways loving it. And Gabor Mate and IFS both have these language of learning how to reparent yourself.
Mm.
So if your parent didn't model you safety on navigating the complexity of being a human being, and Rach particularly has this, you're too much.
Right.
And a lot of women get that. You're too much. Just like, just curb it. Like, come on. If you weren't ever told like, oh, that's fine. You're feeling these big feelings. Let's investigate them. Let's get curious about it. You trying to curb it is never going to curb it. It's only just going to grow mold in the basement in a way that eventually it's like, this is gross and scary, And so my big little nudge for anyone listening to this about the protector, and that maybe that's foreign to you, is recognize that you must conjure curiosity because your protector part won't do it for you.
Wow.
It'll never be curious.
A different part of you.
A different part of you. You need to recognize there's a part of me that wants to defend and protect, and I gotta learn how to love that, but I won't unless I get curious about what it is trying to protect.
Yeah.
But that takes honesty and vulnerability because a lot of us don't want to go back to these points of pain.
Yeah.
Like they're protecting something very valuable. We're like, I've forgotten about that and we've moved on. You have not moved on. You haven't moved on until you've disarmed the protector with their sword, like Peter, and said, you don't need to use that right now. But that takes boldness and courage, and most of us don't
if you're anything
want
like
to
me,
do it.
If you're anything like me, you don't want to go back there consciously or subconsciously because you don't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
So who wants to jump into a situation in which they don't know the solution?
You were powerless.
Yeah.
And so you're like, I'm not going to go back to a powerless moment. I'm going to go to a powerful moment.
Yeah.
And your protector part thinks they know the powerful solution to every problem in your life from that point. They had a solution for that specific moment, and that deserves acknowledgement and thanks and gratitude, which we don't like to give the protector parts because they usually manifest in a meeting or a place where you're like, that is not what this specific moment needs, and I just said or did something that's got me in trouble.
Yeah.
So you want to shame that protector part. You got to get curious about it. So that's my big thing is learn that curiosity sounds wonderful and whimsical. It's super hard. Maybe the hardest thing about this whole thing is being curious is one of the boldest moves and bravest things you can ever do about why you react the way you do to stress in relationships.
All right, microphone drop there. We got to figure out what terminal you're at.
2E.
All right. Oh, 2E. Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Much love, my friends.
Awesome.
This is awesome.
Love you guys. Thanks for hanging in there with us. Love you, Stevie.
Love you, dude.
Thanks for being so awesome.
We hope you found the conversation and stories on today's podcast helpful and insightful. If you want to go deeper, Restoring Connections offers online courses that cover key topics like personal responsibility, proactive care, powerful communication, and healthy boundaries. Go to www.restoringconnections.nz for more information. This podcast is funded by generous supporters from all over the world. Please consider supporting by going to the Restoring Connections website and hitting the Contribute button. By partnering with us, you're helping to provide mentoring, workshops, and training to others who are also restoring their connections.